Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural episode of a brand new show here on Super Couch Fighters called The Dojo. My name is Michael Santel.
And I'm Brett Bayonne.
And I'm Jirard Khalil, the Completionist.
In this show, once a week, we are going to be taking Jirard through the ringer. We're going to be training him up to compete in the world's largest fighting game tournament, Evolution 2016, which takes place this summer in Las Vegas.
We're going to Vegas!
Jirard's game of choice, Street Fighter V. Jirard's character of choice, Ryu.
Hadouken!
Now, I am really inexperienced when it comes to Street Fighter. I've dabbled a lot in Ultra a few years ago and some, Third Strike and whatnot, but this is a brand new experience for me, and hopefully you guys at home are going to experience this brand new as well. And for those of you guys who aren't that familiar with Super Couch Fighters, we're going to get real deep in all kinds of vocab, and even if you are a veteran, that's okay too, because you're going to get brushed up and ready to go for EVO this summer. So join us once a week right here on Super Couch Fighters for the show that we call
The Dojo.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first episode of The Dojo Road to EVO. Brett Bayonne here. Hello.
Michael Santel on the Mizike.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jirard Khalil, the Completionist.
What? What are you doing? You ready for this? You ready for some instructions?
I'm terrified.
Are you really?
No.
Good.
I don't want to. It's just, this is skill,
Right.
This whole training.
Actually.
The next several months of our lives is going to be.
You press start.
Is witnessing me.
Start button. Up top.
Oh, here. Oh,
The very basics we're starting with, where the start button is.
The start button's at the very top.
Oh, I think you actually have to turn the controller on. Jirard's on a stick.
He's on a stick.
Because...
I'm not locked in,
Look at
that's
him, he's
why.
like a baby. He's never used
Lord.
a stick before.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, now press start.
There we go.
Yeah, now we're talking. Now press start again. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Here we go.
I want you to press start because I want you to be first player as we go into training mode, okay? Yeah, do your thing. Welcome, guys. We are here to get Jirard ready for EVO with Street Fighter V, as we said. Fight request off, definitely. Thank you. Up top, fight request off. Yes, perfect. We're good to go. We're here to get Jirard ready for EVO, and we're here to get you guys ready as well for Street Fighter V. Go ahead and pick my man Ryu, will you? Top left. We're getting started with Ryu, man.
Are we teaching him Ryu?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, perfect. And now pick Ryu for me as well. Beautiful. We're going over the basics today, ladies and gents. That's basically all this series is going to be, is just basic. Starting there and getting more and more specific. So today I thought we'd cover something that's definitely going to be present in Street Fighter V as well as here, which is just frames.
Frames? What are frames?
I'll get there in a second, but first, Jirard, press start for me real quick. Thank you. Go to training options. I'm just gonna have you give me control. Action is go to like computer control or CPU human. There it is. Yeah, that's the one you want.
Are you a human?
I am designated human. Yeah. I'm also a meat popsicle. Beautiful. Now I'm in there, baby. Great. All right, Jirard. So let's talk a little jargon first and foremost. Hey, everybody out there. The way Street Fighter works is it's a 6-button fighter. You have 3 punches and 3 kicks, 2 light buttons, 2 medium buttons, and 2 heavy buttons. The light punch is known as the jab, so that's what we're going to call it. Hit that jab for me. Yeah. Medium punch is known as strong punch, and the heavy punch is known as fierce punch. Yeah.
Why is that?
That's just what they've always been called. Like,
when did that become
like Street
official
Fighter?
canon?
At least Street Fighter 2.
That's just what it said on the arcade machines, so that's just what
Exactly.
it is?
It was on the arcade machines. And I think like the reason they gave them all their own buttons is so that we don't have to spend our time going medium punch. You just go strong, and you know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
You know? Strong. And similar. Oh, you got Dokens for me already, dude? I love it. Then you got your light kick, which is it's called short, and then medium kick is called forward, and heavy kick is called roundhouse. Not to be confused with the Nickelodeon show.
Were these moves made for Ryu? Because basically every kick you just said was true of Ryu. Like his roundhouse was kind of a roundhouse. His medium kick was a forward kick.
Yeah, I think that's where the names came from eventually.
Sure.
You know. So you asked like what a frame is, right?
Yeah.
Well, all fighting games work in 60 frames per second, right? There's 60 frames in a second, which basically means that like, you know, like any other moving picture, all it is just a series of pictures played back very, very fast.
Have
right?
you seen the moving picture Gone in 60 Seconds?
No, actually, I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen Gone in 60 Gerard, you've seen Gone in 60
Absolutely,
Seconds.
I have.
Where,
Is it good?
where does it fall on Nicolas Cage movies? Because it's like really good the first time you saw it.
That's any Nicolas Cage movie. It's always like, well, it's actually pretty. Never mind.
Right, it's usually that quick.
Yeah, it's about that quick.
All right, let's start educating people, huh?
All right, let's do it.
So 60 frames.
Oh!
Sorry.
Sorry.
Right, see,
Did you straight
you
I
don't
up
wanna
jumped the
do
gun.
that.
Me? I jumped
He
the
did,
gun.
he
I
did.
jumped the gun, you guys. I'm sorry.
60 frames in a second, which means that every move you do has different kinds of frames. The three main frames we're talking about are startup frames, active frames, and recovery frames. Here's all you basically need to know. Every move you do, this fierce, this forward, this jab, they all have startup, active frames, and recovery. Here's what they mean. The startup frames are the frames, like after you press the button, the number of frames before your move is able to hit somebody. You know what I mean? So for example, it takes a second, like after you hit that button, before you're actually hitting me. Before you're actually able to hit me. Since the jab is a light button and it's faster, it's harder to determine this. But if we try it with like a hard button, watch this. I'm gonna hit the button, and hopefully you guys can hear it, and to compare it to when Ryu actually gets hit. Here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moves take time to activate. They take time to start up, and that's what startup frames are all about. You know what I mean? You follow us so far, Jirard?
I think so.
Yeah. Like, startup frames are just like the time it takes for your move to like get cooking before it can actually hit a dude, you know? As opposed to the second part, which are the active frames, which are the portion of the move where the move is able to actually hit somebody. You know what I mean? You
Well,
guys
hold
follow?
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I follow. There's a lot of information coming at you. I'm looking at Jirard right now. I'm across from Jirard, so I'm looking at him across the couch right now.
Translate for me.
What this is going to make evident to you is as you become more comfortable with the character, understanding scenarios, right, just like you were doing there. See it? You were just out of range for that light kick. You were just out of frame. There wasn't enough frames there to then move it. Maybe you need to do something a little bit more. Maybe you want to do your medium. Yeah, that went a lot more. That heavy went real far, but it took a real long time to recover afterwards.
Right.
So these might be a little bit advanced, but this is just what's going on with what you're doing. And Brett's going to critique you, and you're going to be like, what the fuck did he mean? That's what he meant.
Like, if you want to replace the word frame with seconds, that's fine. They're just units of time. You know what I mean?
Sure. I understand frames.
Right,
Okay.
of course. So,
All right, so what does he do with this? He now has this information.
well,
What
we're
does
not
he-
done. We still have to talk recovery frames.
What are recovery frames?
Recovery frames are the frames that come after your active frames.
Is recovery frames like the day after Christmas when you're on the couch and you're like, I should have done all
Yeah,
that
when
stuff
you're
on
like got the
Christmas.
itis because you ate too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Your recovery frames are like after you throw a move out, and the portion of the move where it's actually able to hit somebody has already passed, and now you're locked into the portion where you have to wait to go back to zero.
Like do a Shoryuken.
Yep.
So like if I was next to you and you did it,
Right.
I attacked you in your recovery frame.
Exactly.
Right, you punished him in there
Exactly.
because he was left open.
Exactly. Because I'm holding. As soon as I'm doing the Shoryuken, I'm gonna block. The reason I was unable to block was because I was still in my recovery frames.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, you got it. So, startup frames, active frames, and recovery frames. Things with fewer startup frames are good because that means the move is active faster. You understand? The Shoryuken with Ryu, which is performed, just in case you guys don't know, it's forward, down, down, forward punch.
Patrick, put some assets during all this, please. Just.
Yeah. He'll help us out.
I can talk to Patrick on your guys' show.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
for sure.
Welcome to Patrick. Patrick, this is Jirard. Jirard, this is
Hi,
Patrick.
Patrick.
I know that when Jirard passes you in the hallway, he doesn't make eye contact. It's just because he's tired. It's not.
true.
It has nothing to do with
That's
you.
very true. I'm always tired.
He's always
That's
tired.
my secret. I'm always tired.
Mr. Banner or Dr. Banner, I think you better start getting tired. That's my secret, Cap.
I'm always tired.
Let's look at the difference between the Hadoken and the Shoryuken. The Hadoken
Sure.
is just down to forward in punch, as opposed to forward, down forward punch.
And in terms of, I mean, with Jirard on a stick, this is like day one. You gotta be like,
just to give everyone some relevancy at home. I don't use a stick. Jesse Cox gave me a Evo branded fighting stick just for this.
it looks like Excalibur. He pulled it out of the fucking box,
It was
and it
dope
looked like
looking.
Sword in the Stone.
It looks so good, Patrick. Don't show don't show them yet.
Yeah, just put a quick question mark on the screen.
A lot of this journey is going to be Brett prepping me to use the stick.
Yeah, execution is another thing that we'll get to.
Execution.
For now, we're all about
is
theory.
the key.
So
Right now, we're all about that theory.
let's look at the difference between the Hadoken and the Shoryuken.
The difference between Hadoken.
So obviously they're two very, very different types of moves, but let's talk about the difference between them in startup frames. Okay,
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna
bet.
input the Shoryuken right now. It's active almost instantly after I input the move, which means that it doesn't have many startup frames, as opposed to the Hadoken, which has a good amount of startup frames. It takes a while for that hittable box to come out. I'll show you what I mean. I'll stand right next to you.
So-
look how hold on. Look
Okay.
how long after I perform the move that you're still like, you're not hit yet. There's a lot of time there.
Yeah.
It may not seem like it, but there is. Because we're working in frames which are just 60ths of seconds, which is a short time, but in the wider gameplay scheme of things, it makes a big difference.
So a Hadoken is
Yeah.
like a European racing team because their cars are meant to go on like turns and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But like a Shoryuken is more like a drag racer because
Sure.
it's just gonna go.
Sure,
And if
sure.
you fuck up, it's just gonna like swerve off to the side and be like a big old fiery mess.
Basically, yeah, you got it.
Thanks.
But as a general rule of thumb, light attacks start up faster, medium attacks are a little bit slower, and heavy attacks are slower than that. But they're not just slower on their startup frames; they're usually slower on their recovery frames as well. Like for instance, do your crouching short. You're back to neutral very fast after that, right? You're back to like if you just press it once. Ryu is able to like block and like go neutral again like a second after that. But do your crouching roundhouse. See how long it takes him to go back to neutral after that?
Yeah.
That's because it has far more recovery frames than the crouching short. That's what we're talking about here. Basically, startup frames are how long it takes to get going, and recovery frames are how long before you're back to neutral.
Understood.
Yeah. You want to talk active frames?
Sure.
It's very, very simple. So just because, like, let's say this standing fierce punch takes 24 frames total to go from the beginning to neutral again, right? If it takes 24 frames, some of those are startup frames, some of those are recovery frames, and some of those are active frames. The move isn't active the whole time. There's only a certain window or period where it's able to hit somebody. Somewhere in the middle, usually, and those are where the active frames are. So you have to be aware of, like, moves that have more active frames than others can be useful in certain situations. For example, this move, the collarbone breaker, is pretty damn active. That one too. You want to do forward and forward strong. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But let's talk about the one you did, actually. That one's probably an even better example. Forward and fierce, the solar plexus punch, is such a great meaty move. And let me show you why.
You can also combo out of it, correct? You can also link it into something?
Yeah, you can, but that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is, here, I'm going to throw you. And as you're getting up off the ground, I just want you to try and hit me.
How do you do a throw?
It's just two light buttons at the same time.
Okay.
All right, as you're getting up off the ground, I want you to try and hit me, okay? Okay, see how you hit me out of that?
Yeah.
I was doing jab. And jab is fine because it's quick, but it's not very active.
Yeah.
The times when it's able to hit you are very, very short. Now let's try the same thing again. Oh, I mistimed it. One more time. See that?
Oh.
The forward hard punch has a lot of active frames. So I kind of throw it out as you're waking up. And if you're pressing buttons while you wake up, you're waking up into my active frames, which is you getting hit. You know what I mean?
Now, this is something that's a little bit besides the game. That we're going to take a step back for a moment because this wouldn't be something that you're going to face online. But when you're playing someone and you're sitting next to them in a tournament setting, you can actually hear what they're doing.
Oh, you're talking about...
You can hear the buttons that they're pressing.
Yeah.
So it's not only something that you're going to learn how to recognize as a player, you're also going to have to broaden sort of your surrounding and be able to focus, but be aware of what your opponent is doing.
Looking out for sounds of your opponent pressing buttons isn't a very reliable strategy, unfortunately, because they could just be like doing motions and not pressing anything just to psych you out.
Listen, I'm not saying it's foolproof. I'm just saying it's something that's going on. He's just fucking with me. That guy's just literally doing nothing. He's batshit crazy. Probably needs to go to bed.
But do you understand what I mean by active frames, Jirard?
Yes.
Like, the more active frames a move has, the easier it is for you to like bop your opponent with them. That's basically all there is to it.
Yeah.
But, you know, everything has pros and cons in these games. So the more active frames a move has, you could probably bet that the more startup and recovery it'll have. You know what I mean? Great. Let's talk about the other thing I wanted to talk about, which was... Santel, do you have a guess for me?
Know your moves. I want Jirard to touch all of his buttons and know what they do.
We're so far from that.
We're so far from that?
Yeah, because look, I don't want him to learn...
Girl, I want to touch your buttons on the first date.
No, don't touch... Look, Street Fighter is a very prudish girl.
Why are you going so slow?
Because I respect her.
You said you like me.
I do, but I respect you. I want to talk about something that, once again, will carry over to the next game. And
what's that?
Hitboxes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Let's talk hitboxes.
You're so technical with this. You're so
You have to
technical.
know.
He has to be, dude.
All right.
A lot of times you hear this phrase, and I used to use it too when I was younger. You hear this phrase called priority in the game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this game has priority over mine, or, my move doesn't have enough priority. Priority is kind of an illusion for the most part, and all priority is a combination of two things: frames and hitboxes. That's why we're going over these things. So, now that we know what frames are, let's talk about hitboxes.
Okay.
The main two types of hitboxes are a hitbox and a hurt box. And they're pretty self-explanatory. So, remember those active frames we were talking about?
Yeah.
As of right now, when you're neutral like this, Ryu has no hitboxes. There's no part of Ryu that can hurt you. But once you do a move, it'll produce during its active frames hitboxes. Boxes that are like, little... Like, they're the space on the screen where if your opponent touches it, they will get hit. The more active frames a move has, the more hitboxes it has. Or rather, hitboxes and active frames are basically the same thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you have an active, the definition of an active frame is a frame that has a hitbox attached to it. So, for example, check this out. See how this throw is an animation, but it has no hitboxes. It has a special throw box, but we'll get to that in a second. But I guess what I'm saying is, you know what's an even better example? This right here. The taunt is a special animation. It's a move, but it's a move that has no hitboxes whatsoever. You understand? It can't hurt you. Some taunts actually have hitboxes, but that's another story. As opposed to, once again, this standing fierce. It has its startup frames which have no hitboxes. It has its recovery frames which have no hitboxes. But those active frames of this move, definite hitboxes. Then there's the hurt boxes, which are the opposite. They are the things that you need to have in order to get hit by the hitboxes. Right now, so you know how Ryu standing neutral like this has no hitboxes?
Yeah.
He may have no hitboxes, but he's nothing but a giant block of hurt boxes. A giant block of boxes that would be hurt if active frames were to come into contact with him. You understand what I'm saying?
A block of box.
A block of boxes. So there's hitboxes and hurt boxes. That's why we have things like trades. So for example, on the count of 3, will you just press Fierce Punch with me? 1, 2, 3. Oh shit. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is hard.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you'll get it.
1, 2, 3.
You get the idea.
1, 2, 3.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
3.
The point is,
dos, trace.
Sometimes trades happen, right?
Dos.
It's okay. Sometimes trades happen. You've seen them before, right?
Yeah.
That's all that is your hitbox overlapping my hurt box, and my hitbox overlapping your hurtbox. You understand? That's all that is. So back to priority. Priority doesn't really exist. All that means, like, if your move didn't hit somebody, that all that means is that your hitbox didn't hit their hurtbox. That's all that means. So you have to start conceptualizing these hitboxes. And
I thought hitboxes referred to your like zone of being hit.
That's a hurtbox.
So that's a common misconception then.
In different video games, you can like they can all mean the same thing, but the reason we differentiate them in fighting games is because it's important to know the difference. That there is a difference between boxes that are there momentarily during an attack that can hurt you, and how you look, like where your hurtable boxes are.
That was straight up like Old Testament right there. That was like,
what do you mean?
I was like, why do we have these two different boxes? Like you're describing like the two different ones.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because look, like we could call them both hitboxes, but they're totally different, right? Like, if I'm talking about like, oh, your hitbox is so good, it's like, you know, it's like, what do you mean like my hitbox is so good? Like, oh, here's a great example. The Hadoken is nothing but a flying hitbox. You understand? The Hadoken can't be hurt. It has no hurt boxes. It's just a flying hitbox. You understand what I'm saying?
And the blue part of it is active the whole way across the screen.
But see, that's the thing. Because it does have startup frames. Remember we talked about the Hadoken?
Yeah.
It's not active at the very top, but like you're right. Once it leaves his hands, it's basically active the whole time. You're right. It's nothing but a giant active hitbox. That's all that is. Great job. Let's talk about the opposite again. You know the Shoryuken?
Yeah.
The Shoryuken has a few iframes, which is short for
Invincibility frames.
That's right. Here's what invincibility frames mean.
Eyeball frames?
No, it doesn't mean eyeball frames.
That's a common misconception. A lot of people don't know the difference between that.
Dude, I know that. Come on, man.
Come on, all right, I didn't know. I thought it was a common misconception people make.
All it means is that, like, all an invincibility frame is a frame where your character has no hurt boxes. The hurt boxes disappear. It's like your character isn't there. There's nothing there for it to be hit. You understand what I'm saying?
That's what it's seeing inside, like, the game's matrix code.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So when you perform a Shoryuken, like, here, look, I'm trying to show you. Will you throw a Hadoken at me from across the screen? I'm trying to time it. Yeah, keep doing it. Try again. See that?
Yeah.
Normally I'd be hit by that.
No, but it
But
didn't
the
work.
EX Shoryuken has so many iframes that I pass right through it. Ryu has no hurt boxes during a good portion of that move, not the whole thing.
Yo, let's refer to iframes as Eye of the Tiger frames. Because you're just out there. You can just do whatever you want to. You have the Eye of the Tiger.
So these hitboxes and hurt boxes are important. Let's talk about throws really quick.
Yeah. And then, Professor, I gotta close chapter 1 down.
Yeah. Well, we're almost done.
Okay.
But throws present their own unique kind of hitbox when you do this, and basically all they're doing is looking for their own special type of hurt box, a throwable box if you can. The only reason I'm introducing this concept is because like the game recognizes different types of hurt boxes and different types of hitboxes. For example, if you get like, can you just jump straight up for me? Just to keep holding up. If I juggle you with that and throw a Hadoken, nothing happens.
Nothing happened, Brett.
But if I do this, if I juggle with EX Hadoken, I'll try again. If I juggle with EX Hadoken, you're
there. You didn't have the meter before.
Great.
Brett, what is going on?
Don't look at me like that. Why is that not happening?
You don't have the meter, first of all.
Oh, that's why I don't have meter.
But then one of the times you did have meter. All right.
No, it works.
All right, get your meter on.
Yeah, Jar, can you press start real quick? Go to training option. SC gauge. Max. Infinite. Yeah, infinite for revenge gauge as well, please. Great, thank you. I hope that's for both of us.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, it's back up. Yeah, thank you. All right, jump up.
You might be too close. There
Booyah.
you go. There you booyaka shot.
So EX Hadoken works because it has a special juggle hitbox that only looks for if you are in a juggle state. You understand what I'm saying? The only reason I'm introducing these are like things like throws and things that have juggleability, whatever, are looking for specific types of hurt boxes that only exist in specific situations. The main point is there's hitboxes and hurt boxes mainly. but there are different types of those all throughout. So you got to be on the lookout for those.
I love that song.
Hitboxes and hurtboxes.
Jungle ability, do it. Jungle ability, do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So let's close it out.
Okay, let's close it out.
So here's your guys. So every episode, we're gonna try and have research and homework for you guys who are serious and want to train up along with
Right, I
Jirard.
hope you were taking notes. If not, go back to the video, get a pen and paper out, start writing this stuff down, okay? We're not going over this again next week.
Right.
You gotta do your work.
So
I treat you like adults on this show, okay?
if you want to train up along with us, here's what you could do. This is the first episode, so we're not going to do anything too hard. But if you want to play along with us, go ahead.
Rob a bank.
No.
Don't do that?
No, don't rob a
Okay.
bank.
I thought we had to fund this enterprise.
Rob a
Okay,
bank.
yeah,
No.
what are you telling them to do?
I'm telling you to go. It doesn't matter if you're playing Street Fighter or not, because these concepts are in all fighting games. So whatever fighting game you play or want to learn how to play,
Even Smash?
Of course, even Smash. Absolutely. Here's what I want you to do: 2 things. Number 1, I want you to look up your character's look up the frame data for your character. It's all out there. Go on the internet, look up whatever character you're interested in, look up their frame data, and then report back in the comments what is their fastest normal in terms of startup. What is their fastest normal move in terms of startup frames, and tell me what those frames are for what character for what game. And look up their hurt boxes. You don't have to post anything about their hurt boxes and hit boxes, but find that stuff out. If you're interested, go. There's all kinds of resources. Go and find a picture, a database of the pictures of their hit boxes. You can find that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, let us know what you guys find. I'm interested.
So Brett's homework is find your fastest move and touch your hurt box. So here we go.
Thanks for joining us on the Dojo, the road to Evo. This is Brett.
I'm Michael Santel.
I'm Jirard. It's going to be a long road, you guys.
Long road.
We'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.